Hey everyone, how you doing today? Topic number 3 is going to be something extra special. We're actually going to flip the script and Omar is going to be asking me some questions. Really, we're going to put hopefully some questions together that you may be thinking about. You don't have an opportunity to ask me. So Omar is going to ask on your behalf. So Omar, it is now your show.
Sweet. This is cool. Okay. Let's ask the question number 1 to Michael. You had a normal job and you were purchasing real estate.
Yep.
Now, how can I, being a normal 9-to-5er, be able to buy my first home or be able to buy my first investment? Because that's everyone's question out there, because they may not be in the real estate industry like I am. But a normal, you know what? I make 110,000. Oh, I'm a lineman at Edison, or I'm just a waiter at a nice restaurant making decent money.
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of things in my story that I hope people take away from this. So first and foremost, rental, becoming a landlord and building a real estate portfolio that takes care of your future is absolutely possible. It's a great goal to have. It takes time. And it really starts with some blocking and tackling that I don't talk about enough. So I'm glad you asked this question. Really, in order for you to, get in this game and continue to grow, it really boils down to a simpler formula. That is, earn as much as you can during your day job, cut expenses, right? Drop wants, just cover your needs so you can save. And then as the savings grow up, you invest. So I call it earn, spend/save, invest, repeat. So for a 9-to-5er like me, what did that mean? That meant I consciously tried to become the best employee I could.
Okay.
I was 30 years old. We had a daughter that was 5 or 6. I don't remember how old she was, maybe 7. And I couldn't quit, right? I couldn't jump in with both feet. I wasn't ready for it. I had a career. I was making 6 figures. So for me, it was, okay, become the best employee I could. I had a commission-based job. So whatever I could do to get better, learn more skills. I mean, I hustled, right? And I became the number 1 person at what I did. So I was good there. But where the really changed was, so first I increased the top line revenue. The biggest difference for Olivia and I is we cut expenses. And what I mean by that is we started asking ourselves, what is a need versus a want? Because what happened historically for the first decade of our relationship is we spent every penny we made. Just what you do, right? Yeah, we spent every penny.
Okay.
Right? So we weren't going really negative. It wasn't like we were living beyond our means, but we were living to our means. If we got a bonus, we took a vacation. If it was a nice commission check, we bought a car. Right? It was just stupid stuff. And what we started to do is we started ratcheting down. So we went from spending 100% of our expenses all the way to our income to 50%. It took years. Yeah, we took years to get there, but that's where we ended up. So again, increase our top line. We did cut expenses so that we could keep adding to our savings so we could buy the next one. Or if we bought a junker, we had to have money to repair it, right? Because the banks weren't giving us money for the repairs. So that is something I don't talk about. Is, again, I focused on being the best employee, every bonus, every raise, every commission check. And we looked at our family expenses and we lowered expenses, which allowed us to start accumulating more and more and more and more. So we could buy. And it was months and years to get the next one and the next one. And then over time, cash flow added up, and, then we could do a cash out refi and all of these things. But yeah, I don't talk about that enough. I'm one of the people that say, you know what, bust your ass 9 to 5, increase that top line as much as you can. Also at the same time, cut expenses. And if you do that for 5, 10, our case, 15 years, magic happens.
Oof, because it compounds, doesn't it?
Exactly, it compounds, exactly.
Yep. That's huge. So for everybody that's out there listening, increase your amount of income that you can make, be the best employee, decrease all the wants, because that's what will bury you in a sense. That new car, that nice dinner every week, that, hey, let's go here every weekend, because all that money, literally you're spending, this is perfect. You're spending what a property could cash flow monthly to you.
Exactly.
And that's just phenomenal. Like, for everybody that's listening, you guys need to be paying attention in any profession, and myself included. Like, I'm over here thinking like, okay, this is how Michael did it. We have the ability to go make a bunch of money in commission-based business, obviously, and then we do our thing. But we could do the same and just stop spending and just focus on the top line, which I always say to everybody here is that just focus on increasing your income on a monthly basis, but at the same time, decreasing your expenditures. That's so huge.
Yeah. And the beauty is if you make it a family experience, you don't really even notice the difference, right? Because again, we covered all our needs. It wasn't like our needs weren't covered. We never went hungry, none of that stuff. But when you look back on it, you're like, it's awesome, right? Because we probably have 40 more houses or 40 more properties now because we did that. Because again, it compounds, right? That one house turned into 4, that 4 turned into 12, and it just grows. And one house that you buy at 100, it's worth 300 today. I mean, it just adds hundreds of thousands to your net worth. We would not be here today without that marriage of increasing top line and lowering expenses.
What you just said, by doing so, it gave you another 40 doors. And people that may have not overheard that are like, oh my gosh, I just want the first one. But notice, if I told everybody that's listening to this call, if you literally become cheap and just focus on the needs, to survive, nothing crazy. Granted, some people are like, oh, well, I want to live life. That's great. But if in 15 years, I told you you're going to have 40 doors that you're going to be managing that are yours, but the journey is going to be a pain in the ass to get there, most people won't freaking do it. Because
yeah, you're right.
They just won't, because life happens. You want to keep up with the Joneses next door because they got a new boat, car, this, that, and the other.
You're very right.
That's what happened. And you know what? That was huge. That question right there, I hope it answered a lot of, for a lot of people out there that have that question on how to get that first one. And
appreciate that. That was a good question.
Just,
I don't talk about that enough.
Dude, that you need to, because that's freaking gold.
Will do.
I love it. Okay, cool. So, and I'm going off the cuff here. Nothing's written down. I'm just, creating it in my brain right now. So that was a good question. Thank you, Michael. Number two is how do you create your tax return? Because this is something I'm going on. 1 to 4, back then, 1 to 4, you can get financed for properties. Now, the whole expense, I don't want to show too much money because I don't want to pay taxes. Okay. And this is for the investor that's out there that has 1 property already and a personal home. Okay. And now you want to get that 3rd property. Okay. Because I know there's a lot of questions out there, especially if you're new in the game. That 3rd property is going to be based upon your tax return on what you show that you can make income on, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not buying a commercial building that the rents cover for the financing. So my question to you is, how did you add more to your taxes so you knew that you're able to finance that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th property?
That's a great question. Nobody's ever asked that question. And again, this wasn't a problem for 12 or 14 years, but in today's environment, buying inside an LLC is hard, right? Because they want seasoned tax returns, and they want to make sure it's a lendable. You need to become bankable. The LLC needs to be bankable, and you can't be bankable losing money.
Right?
You can't. So, frankly, I have reported a 6-figure profit in my LLCs combined 3 out of the last 4 years. 1 year because I had a large apartment purchase, I was able to do accelerated depreciation, which made it go to 0. And
Nice.
if that wasn't there, I would have had a 6-figure profit. Profit's not a bad thing, especially in an environment where you want to get cheap debt. Again, banks are different today than they were 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they didn't care. They were, even if you were an LLC, it was still on you. But today they want you to be bankable or lendable. And I think that's a better environment. So, never cheat your taxes. You don't want to be audited by the IRS. 2, don't be in a rush to write everything off. So it is zero. If you
Right.
are in real estate and depreciation is the thing that takes you zero, that is okay. Right? Because again, banks know that depreciation is a phantom non-cash expense. So they will absolutely back out depreciation. So that 1 year out of my last 4, banks just back it out. They say, what happened? I say, I bought a big apartment building. We did accelerated depreciation. And, we wrote off $350,000. They're like, oh, okay, got it. So if we take that out, you made some money. I said, yep, made some money. So again, don't be in a rush. Don't be so creative that you write everything off or you're making no money is my advice, because you won't get loans. Unless you always want to pay cash or always want to do hard money, the best rates come from banks, and you need to be bankable or lendable inside your LLC, in my opinion.
Nice. Bankable, lendable, for everybody that needs to hear that again. And it's okay to pay every year in taxes, because if you're at zero, people always tell me, oh, well, I got back 8,000. I got back 10,000. I got back 15,000.
Yeah.
It's like, did you? That means you made nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
That means if you made nothing, then you are not financeable.
Yeah.
You can't get lent.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to lend you money, not unless you're going to be paying hard money loans. So it's a double-edged sword, but I'd rather pay the IRS to show a great tax return, so I'm able to get lent other monies to buy more property.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And I wanted to ask you that because there's a lot of people that don't ask that question ever about what to show on your taxes, so you become lendable, like you said, bankable and lendable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's paramount. I think running a good business shows profit. And if you show profit, you pay taxes.
Exactly.
I mean, that's how I look at it. I don't run to pay zero taxes. I want to pay my legally required fair share, not a penny more, but I don't want to pay zero. I would hate to pay zero. That means I made no money. That would suck, right? But again, I'm willing to. Depreciation is the one, because we're in real estate, that is a beauty for us. So I'm okay paying zero if depreciation's the reason, but that's the only reason, because it's a non-cash expense.
Okay. Awesome. That was a great question. Hopefully it didn't go over everybody's head.
It's okay.
But next question. This is more of a rental aspect.
Yeah.
Now, you have a bunch of rentals. We do as well.
Okay.
And do you maximize the rent for all of your tenants, or do you give them a little bit of a discount so they keep paying every month?
So
that's my question.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer this 3 different ways, because it's all changing.
Okay.
So first and foremost, if a unit goes vacant, I fix it up and go right to top of market.
Boom. Exactly. Okay.
Right to top of market. Second, historically speaking, if you were one of my tenants and you paid on time for 12 months in a row, you never got a rent increase, or you wouldn't get a rent increase the next year, right? So most folks, because most folks pay on time, most folks wouldn't get a rent increase for 2 years, and then they would only get a little one, because landlords lose at turns. Every year I can go back and I can tell you what property didn't perform. It was the one who had turns. So I don't want to incent terms. However, now, because of Gavin Newsom, rent control, the fact that I did not raise rents at all last year, I did not raise rents I should take that back. I raised a few rents in January of last year before the crisis, not knowing, but I didn't raise any rents February through December. Anybody. It wasn't the right thing to do. But now, because of Gavin Newsom and rent control, I have to. So just this week, maybe it was last week, I think, we raised rent 6%, which is 5% max plus plus inflation. So every unit got a 6% increase, unless you were already locked into a lease, which most weren't. So they got a 6% increase. That's because Gavin Newsom says, You have to raise rents. Otherwise you never get it back. I've already lost a year of rents because I was a good landlord and didn't raise rents last year. I will never get that money back. It's lost forever. The value is hit. So just, again, I don't want to do it, but because of, I think it's AB 3088 and Gavin Newsom, I have to do it, or else my family is hurt long-term. So the answer is everybody got 6% here very recently.
Cool. That's you know what? I wanted to ask you that because I'm in that positioning right now too.
Yeah, we have to, unfortunately.
And it sucks too because, you know, some people are facing some difficult times. I think we all were.
Yeah.
This last crisis, but you kind of have to. So that's the question I wanted to ask. And this is for the experienced investor out there that has 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 properties that are listening. It's key. You want someone to keep paying, and I've always believed that. And just like you said, 12 months, they don't get an increase. Right. I've had people for 7, 8 years, and I have never increased them because they've always paid, and it's awesome. Yeah. You know, and you know what? One more thing. Did you get any pushback on the 6%?
Yeah, I mean, we always will. I mean, I think, you know, we'll probably hear. My suspicion again is we may lose 1 or 2 people because of it. But thankfully, I mean, I don't want to lose anyone. I mean, if they called up and they sung a song, I'd probably bend just because of the nice. I'm a sucker sometimes. But in reality, this is Gavin Newsom's fault. I don't want to do this. But the fact that I can never make it up because of his rules, I don't have a choice.
Yeah, we can't go from $1,000 to $300 or $1,300 like the market rate.
We have to go. We have to go at steps. And if you don't take the step, you'll never get that step back. It's gone forever.
Oh, that's just So that means all the properties, 6% increases across the board.
Yep.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. Well, I mean, that's the top 3 questions. I know we're kind of running out of time here, 10:07.
Yeah.
But that was cool, Michael. Thank you for answering those. And maybe we start incorporating this. I started asking questions again.
Yeah.
Every meeting. This way, other people can actually hear, you know, stuff that you may or may not talk about consistently.
Yeah. I thought it was wonderful. 3 things I've never talked about. So yeah, we will definitely add this to our conversations every week. Have a great week.
Start asking questions. I'm going to start putting more stuff in.
I like it.
So
Thanks,
cool.
buddy.
Great job. Thank you, Michael.
Take care.